It might be a surprise to you, but all businesses go through periods where they're risking failure, whether it's from external market influences or internal factors impacting the business. In this video, I take you through some of those instances, some of those problems, and also a framework to help you deal with those, to ensure that you can decide whether it's something you can influence or whether it's something out of your control, and how to go about fixing it so that you don't end on the wrong side of failure in your business. So the first thing I need you to do is diagnose the problem. And to do that, sit down by yourself, confirm the specific problem. Make sure you've got to the heart of what the problem is and not just the symptoms. For instance, if you look at cash flow, symptoms are not being able to pay your creditors on time. But what's the problem? Why is that? Why have you got less money in the bank account than you previously had? It might be because you're selling your product for below margin. To diagnose properly, they require data and an understanding of what's going on in your business. And your system of reporting may or may not have real-time data. But ideally, real-time data is critical to diagnose those problems. And the next step is to share the problem. So identify a couple of key people within your business or close to your business and get their heads around the table and say, okay, let's pick one of these issues and figure out, why is this happening? And list why is it happening? Ultimately, by getting the heads around the table on each of those issues, you need to get to one point of decision. Can we seriously influence this problem by our own actions? Or is it too far beyond our control? And the more of those problems that you decide that are outside your control and you can't influence that much, the more difficult it's going to be to turn around your business. And I'm sure if you analyse them, there's a bunch of them where you can control the outcome. You just need to double think what you might do differently to take steps to change the impact and the problem. For instance, you're losing key staff. What do you need to do to shore up your team, to turn the culture around? A lot of that is in your control. Now, the issue is it's going to take time to do that. And it's about leadership, and it's about communication. It's about day-to-day feedback and continuous learning and being close to your team and understanding their issues as much as the issues impacting the business. But that's totally, well, not totally, but let's say 8 out of 10, it's in your control. The margin issue we talked about earlier, different issue. If the market's super competitive, I have a client at the moment, they're losing over $100,000 a month because the industry they're in is so competitive that margins are being squashed and there's nothing they can do. So it's impacting their top line sales and impacting their earnings as a result of reducing their margin from about 40% to low 20% gross margin. That's a huge impact, right? And what it does is it moves the business from a profit-making business to below break even. And they're sitting there saying, well, what impact can I have? The only impact I can have is reduce costs in my business to support the overheads, or sit on the sidelines and don't sell. In that circumstance, my clients actually decided to sell their business because they don't have enough influence on that issue. Truly owning the problem is not just about saying, I own it, and looking in the mirror and saying, I'm accountable for fixing it. Truly owning the problem is actually writing down some key benchmarks. Time, in other words, we need to fix our cash flow to the point where we're positive. And based on our available funds and what we see as our problems, this is an issue that we can fix over 6 months. And this is our monthly benchmark to achieve that gradual process. So you, the business, and everyone in the business is accountable to those results happening. And if they don't happen in that time, then regularly you got to reassess and say, oh, hold on, was our target too strong? Was it unrealistic? Did we not change the behaviours that we wanted to change? And that's got to be a constant discussion. And if it doesn't go on, it goes to the heart of what I see as one of the core attributes of a successful business owner in desperate times and in good times, and that is resilience. And often I talk to business owners about the difference between resilience and running a crusade. Resilience is the ability to work day to day at something, a problem, until you achieve it, but also reflect on what's going on around you and make adjustments accordingly. A crusade is passionately saying, surely the business can't fail. I'll just keep working until we get it turned round. Crusades don't run successful businesses. Crusades have passion, but often crusades end in defeat. How do you have confidence that it is the right plan? Well, just remember that there's no one single plan that'll get you out of this problem. And whether it's the right plan or not depends largely on your ability to execute it, more so than the actual plan. Often when a business is failing, things get really tough. And as business owners, we actually look for one-hit fixes because, gee, cash flow is really hard. I can see my business tanking. We're making negative earnings. I need a fix, and I need a fix fast. Ultimately, many of these problems are not fast fixes. They take time. And so what I've seen in working with over 5,000 business clients is that the business clients that do well in a hard situation and come out the other side are the ones that are prepared to chip away incrementally and stay the course and have discipline to implement the changes needed day by day and lead those and check that they're being done. I hope this video was useful in considering the aspects that might lead to a failure of your business and how to address them. I'd love you to drop a comment and also let us know any other business issues you might be facing, because I'd be happy to address them on this channel as we go forward.